What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Kazakh the Bull, bringing you content on Tower of Fantasy and on Wormhole, and what you need to do to effectively progress through Wormhole. First things first, we're going to go to Adventure and then we're going to select Challenge. Now you're going to be wondering, well, I don't see Wormhole. You may not have even known about Wormhole yet. I'm hoping you have, because otherwise you have missed out on some very valid rewards. All we need to do is scroll to the right, or scroll left to go right, select Wormhole. Now, we get cycle rewards, so the further on we progress through, we can only accumulate a maximum of 24 points, and we get every 5 days 280 energy crystal. This is in the form of purple, so it means that we can then effectively buy things like elite armbands, let's just say all of the purple equipment that we need. Now, you're going to want to save this. You're not going to be wanting to buy into these purple items unless you need to use them for your combat score increase. But be aware that we do have gold gear coming up soon, which we will need gold crystal dust for. I'm unaware how we come across this right now, but you can be sure to know that we will feature that on the channel. The main thing I'm showing you this for right now is because when we get our items, we're going to want to have enough of the same items to increase or advance the stars of those items. Make sure you're only doing it on good rolls. Don't waste your time and doing it on things that, you know, like we want to look for crit rate, we want to look for attack, frost attack, fire attack, volt attack, whichever you specialize in. So we're going to want to have the same item to level up the same item of correspondence, as you can imagine. Now, it's 400 each, which isn't too much. If you think every 5 days we're getting 280, and then this will of course increase as we go to level 50 and level 60 and so on. Another thing to add on this fact is that there is a reward that you can buy for black crystals. I think it's 450 black crystals. I will introduce this into the end of the video to show that exactly what is in it, because there is more than it actually shows on the screen for 450 black crystals. You get this for every 8 stages cleared. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need to do to get through Wormhole effectively. First things first, yes, I'm at challenge 7 of 8. I do have buffs already, and that's because I wanted to show you guys exactly why we need to take our time on Wormhole, search the map, get all of the blessing runes that we can, and even try and, when we're coming towards the end of our progress bar, we want to try and find 2 elite monsters at the same time, because if they're both in the same area when they die, it means that we get 2 blessing runes rather than 1 for finishing. Now, another thing we need to look at here is every 4 stacks of a buff we get an extra boosted, you know, it boosts our effect. So although the final crit rate is 5% and it increases the final crit rate, upon getting 4 stacks, the final crit rate is plus 20% crit rate and crit damage of 50%, which that is a big boost to your damage. Now, it's the same for every single one. I'm going to tell you, you do need to focus into your attack because we need to be dealing damage. The faster we deal damage, and they say attack is sometimes the best form of defense. So do really push on your attacking blessing runes if they're coming across. We can see here with Radical Particle, it deals double damage once every 2... Is that 2.5 seconds or is that 2 to 1 seconds? I'm not quite sure, but I do know I love this one. And dealing double damage is, you can imagine how hard you can hit. I will feature some of that as well in the video so you can see just how much damage we're doing. The Heart of Thorns attack 180 every time we kill an enemy, and then upon 4 stacks we get a damage dealt by 3% for each enemy defeated. Bear in mind, this does carry over every single stage of that wormhole, so it's every 8. It's every 8, and then obviously when we're into the next chapter, we need to restart our blessing runes. Once we're focusing on the damage side of things, we are going to want to then obviously boost into our elements. So I want to resist against flame, so it boosts our health by 14,400, but at 4, it reduces the damage we receive by 20% and 35%, which is very large. It's the same for each one. So if we look at Grievous and Volt damage. Now, I am not too sure on Cloister of Echoes if I would feel this one's valid to bring in so soon, because we are going to be wanting to stack our damage, and the 10 to 20% of health lost isn't huge unless you don't have a healer. If you don't have a healer, you probably will want to be pushing into this one a little bit, get it at least to 4, so that each stage you're getting 10% recovery. The damage taken, the overclocking program is nice, but you're going to want to make sure you get 4 stacks, because we do take an extra 20% damage, but we get to deal an extra 40%, and then at 8 stacks we get 60% damage boost. Going back to Radical Particle quickly, just as we went through, I kind of figured out that it is every 4 stacks we deal double damage once every 2 seconds, and at 8 stacks we deal double damage every 1 second. So you can just see the difference there is pretty huge. So definitely focus into all of your damage ones. Overclocking if you feel comfortable with taking some damage, if you can put out a huge damage output. Obviously it does depend on what you're giving, or what you're given during the wormhole, if you're giving these blessing runes to select. So be aware of that too. Endurance is another good one. If you like to be in the air using skills such as range, you know, if you're a bow user, or you're using even crow, definitely stay at range in the air, and your endurance consumption is a lot less. So moving forward, every stage we clear, we get 20 purple crystals, which in itself is quite generous. If you think there's 24 stages, just for doing that, we're getting 480 purple energy for clearing through. So that's one item already to consume, and then we get our stage results every 5 days. Now, if we look into weapons and what you should bring, I mean, I bring in King for damage, I bring in Coco for healing, and I also bring in Subasa just for a bit of CC and also damage and charge building. So this works for me. I mean, everyone else has got different weapons, so we can't be sure on what to use. If you have Nemesis, obviously use Nemesis. I do have Nemesis, but only 0 stars, so I'm not going to use her here. I haven't really been using relics a lot in here. I mean, I have been using Jetpack and my Cybernetic Arm to get around the map to find blessing runes when we're in there. But other than that, I'm probably bring my Colossus Arms and my Type V armor just to deal out damage when they're either stunned, or we want to be at range with Type V armor. Also, don't forget to check the target weak point. So it's Volt damage is down and Flame damage is down. I know I'm bringing in Ice, but I'm bringing in Ice for my heals and also some CC with charge build. As we enter the wormhole, we get something come across our screen saying reduced healing. All healing effects decline by 80%. Now that is why you need to take your time in the wormhole. Don't go rushing it. Heal safely. We have plenty of time. There is no rush. And trust me, you want to keep your health as high as possible for the final bosses, because otherwise we're stuck at that health every time we try that stage, and it could result in you starting again. So be safe and play safe. So as we're in, we're going to see obviously normal mobs and then elite mobs. I'm not in a rush, as you can see. I said to play safe. Now we're going to run around the map just for a moment, have a little look. There's a blessing rune here, so be sure to collect these. Don't skip out on these. We can see what we get to select. I will choose another damage. We'll also find clock symbols to extend our time. I do like to get, here we go, here's a clock symbol. Be careful not to knock them off, because we don't want to lose our blessing runes, which will fall through the earth. So in between of what we're doing, if you bring in a healer, make sure you're using that periodically, and when you need to, just, I know it is 80% reduced healing effect, but it still helps. If you are unaware of what buffs you have upon entering, you can see at the bottom center of my screen right now all my blessing runes buffed. He's ran off the edge. That is another blessing rune lost, unless we can grab it. I'm unsure. I can't get it. I can't get that one. So be careful of the edges, guys, because we don't want them dropping off. Because that is a blessing rune I've lost, which I could have benefited from for the end. Here is another blessing rune that we just come across. So yeah, really do scale the map. We have plenty of time. There's no rush. There is no rush, guys. Also, the non-elite monsters can sometimes drop health recovery. You need to pull him away from their edge so he doesn't drop off and we lose another blessing rune. So you see, by having 2 in proximity there, we've gotten 2 blessing runes. So always try and towards the end of your progress, always try and make sure you have more than 1 in sight so that we get an extra blessing rune, especially for the ones we just lost off the edge. Again, the same description for this wormhole is reduces healing by 80%. We're at about 65% health, which is a nice amount to be at. We're facing Lucia, so let's hope. I don't actually like fighting Lucia because I can't really time when her whip lands, as you can see. Let's put down some ice. It's always very nice to fight in the air if you're against Lucia too. Build up some charge and then hit down our damage. Break her shield to get her stunned. Yeah, a lot of damage. Obviously, King is the best shatter damage dealer in the game currently. Let's put down a heal and then dodge to get a little B. You can see, like I said, that relics aren't too important here. The main thing is to get all the blessing runes we can and really focus on that so that we're dealing enough damage and, you know, we're tanky enough to deal with the bosses. I mean, that's just, look, you can see from the crit damage and the double damage now, it's just massive, especially when it comes to shattering. You do get stuck in that. Just use one of your discharge abilities. Wow. Beware the edges again, guys. It's not a problem. We have enough damage to shatter before she can get through to her maximum. You can see we didn't really lose a lot there. I mean, this doesn't matter because we are done, so it's not going to carry over. So now that's done, it's the maximum that we can do for this week until we get to level 50, and then we unlock Hydra on normal, which we can start to clear as well. Now, I can show you what we do get from our limited time pack, and it will show us here. We do get a free supply box, which is what was shown, and then we get an extra supply box, which is the Wormhole supply box. Free, it costs 450 with a reduction of 70%. And inside of this, we get some proof of purchase, booster modules, advancement modules, potent omnium crystals, some frames, matrix data packs, and more gold. So it is quite nice. It does give you some nice rewards. I would probably feel, you can see I have nothing because anything I get I spend, I'm terrible. And now you can sit back and wait for your cycle rewards once this is done. You don't need to worry about it, you don't need to repeat it, it is literally finished until the next part unlocks. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope some of this information helped you. Make sure you do click like and subscribe to see more future content of Tower of Fantasy. Thank you very much.